Hi guys, so today I will cover the summary for chapter 11 to chapter 14 of the book called Fountainhead. So, how do I go about it? Okay, first, in these four chapters, mainly the story has been moved ahead, wherein how Howard Rourke has proceeded in his career and how he has working to make his ends meet, and how he is working as his own. He has created his own firm, and uh, Peter Keating, how he has so basically how he has went ahead in his life. Okay, so we'll start first with Peter Keating. So what happens is, as I have already shared, that Peter has his love interest in a girl called Catherine, who is niece of Ellsworth Toohey, that famous writer, right? So, what happens is, one fine day she knocks his door, and she is very frightened because of the way her uncle Toohey has behaved. Like he was nothing like he didn't mean anything, just that she felt very distant from his behavior, and it was quite unusual for him. So it's like she is unsure like what will happen, how she will live her life and all these things. So basically midlife crisis kind of thing, but she is quite young for that, right? So she is unsure of what will happen in her life. She is frightened, so she comes to Peter and she asks him to marry her. And then he says calmly that, okay, I will marry you, but first let me know what's the reason, what has made you come here and at this hour and ask to marry her. Then she tells that these things happened and I am quite afraid, and I want that assurance from you and all these things. Then Peter says, okay, tomorrow I will come to your house and then we'll get married. Then Peter's mother, so she overheard all this conversation, and she never liked Catherine because she is not much wealthy, and she does not come from a wealthy background and powerful background, and she wants her son to, you know, get be in relation with big shots of the town, and she wants him to grow in his career and use other people's as ladder. And she thinks that Catherine won't be of uh, any use to Peter, and that's why she is quite hesitant, and she does not approve of this idea. Then she tells him that what about Dominic? So if G. Francon finds out that he is already married to Catherine, and he is already making plans that to get Dominic married with Peter, he would get mad, and uh, it could impact Peter's career, and he could make trouble. He could create trouble for Peter, and that's why you should not do that, and all these things. So that's what Peter's mother tells him, and then Peter thinks about it, and Peter is like a selfish guy who just wants to go ahead in his career, right? So that's the utmost importance to him. So he gives it a thought, and but he really loves Catherine. So he is in a dilemma, like what should what should I do? And then uh, the next morning, Peter goes to Catherine and tells her that, hey, this is the thing that's been going on, and Francon wants him to marry his daughter, and if I get married to you right now, it would, create issues for him. And he tells Catherine that let's wait for some time, as he is about to be a partner in Francon's firm. So once his partner position is finalized, then he can marry Catherine, and then he can directly tell G. Francon that I am already married to Catherine and I don't intend to marry his daughter. So that way, there won't be any issue or any problem for Peter, and also he'll be able to happily get married with Catherine. So Catherine is like blindly trusts him, and she loves him with all her heart. So she happily agrees to Peter's idea. Okay, so that's what has happened. And then we move to Howard's part. So Howard has uh, worked on a building, right? On a home, on his first project. And he has created this project, but only the owner of the house likes that. But other than that, nobody likes the idea of the modernized house and all those stuff. But uh, with the owner's recommendation, I forgot his name. He sent few of the people uh, to Harvard to, as a client, as a potential client, but they don't want the home to be unique, or it shouldn't, they don't want someone to create house which do not hold the conventional idea and conventional architectural designs and all those stuff. So they are not yet ready for Howard's thinking and Howard's way of doing his job. So Howard declines three to four clients, and then one day some clients saw the house built by Howard, and then he asked him that I want to create a uh, business complex for him. Uh, and then Howard does that. So that's how he gets his second contract. And then in between, he lost three to four clients because Howard do not want to compromise on his principles, and he do not want to, create houses just for the sake of showing it to other people and all, which do not have the soul and particular identity of that particular house. So he do not want to work for such projects. So that's how he lost few of the clients. And then uh, he got one client, so he already visited two of these Harvard's projects, and he is very impressed by it. And he says that I don't know much about buildings, but I know when when I see a person who knows about buildings. So that's how I have come to you, and I want you to build the house for me. And then Howard creates the design, sends it to him, and he likes it very much. But his wife does not approve of the designs, and then there are clashes. But um, he wants Howard to work on this, and he wants Howard's design. But because of his wife, he asks Howard that if he can change his designs or make some modifications. But Howard tells him that um, like for a human body, every part is there not for show off or not for any redundant purpose. Everything is there because it is required by the body, and it makes the body unique and useful. So there is nothing which is um, not useful in a human body. Just like that, buildings also have this kind of soul which we need to preserve, and all these things. And if you agree with whatever designs I have shared, and then only I will work on your project, and I will build a house for you. If you want these kind of modifications, you can go and find some other architect. So that's how Howard goes about it. And then finally that client agrees, and they creates the house. But his wife is uh, very angry about it. She does not like the design, and she just wanted to show off, and she wanted to boss her opinion around. So she after the house is built, she denies to live in that house, and she goes to some other town where they had the second home. And she forces her husband to live in that house. And then, knowing all this, there is one newspaper which writes about Howard, that there is this guy who who thinks he is very smart, and then he has created a house and he has vested money, and the client is refusing to, you know, live in it. So that's how these young lads are think of themselves, and they need to, so basically they criticize Howard's work and how he has vested his clients money. So uh, yeah, so that's how the newspaper tarnish Howard's reputation, and that's how the chapter 12 ends, I guess. And then there is an announcement of a 40-story building in Hollywood for one of the prominent uh, figure in Hollywood, and he so that institute wants to create a 40-story building, and they created a competition, and they ask all architects all over the world to enter the participation, and whoever wins the competition, they would get to work on that particular building, and they will also be awarded $60,000. So seeing this, Peter Keating participates in that, and then he works on it. He creates some designs, but as he is not a very good architect, he is not satisfied with what he has designed, and then he is kinda afraid and jealous that if he does not win the competition, then he has to admit that there is somebody else who is superior to him, and he does not like this idea. So he is just thinking what he can do, and then one name pops in his head, and he is very angry that this name has popped up, and he is basically looking for help, and he needs help, and that name is obviously Howard Rourke. Yeah. So he goes to Howard and asks, hey, how are you, and are you participating in the competition? But Howard knows why Peter is here, and he just says, cut the bullshit, cut the crap, and don't beat around the bush. Let's just tell me why you are here. So Peter says that just take a look at my designs, and just give a general opinion. I'm not asking you to uh, you know work on the design. So he just directly watches the designs. He make multiple improvements in it, and then quickly he draws lines, cuts the elevations and all this stuff. He does all this architectural stuff, and seeing this, Peter asks that why, hey, you can do this with this much efficiency, why you yourself not participating in it. Then Howard tells him that these guys uh, don't want what I am offering, or I have to offer, and that's why I don't like these competitions, and I don't take part in this, but I can always create some shitty designs by other people. So that's what I am doing. And he just tells him that uh, he gives some improvements, and then ask him to work on these lines and make it less bad, because it is already bad, that you have already um, your designs are inspired by Renaissance, and there is nothing unique to it, right? So that's how he tells Peter, and then Peter goes home, finalize the suggestions given by Howard, and then mail it to the authority. So in that judging panel, there are multiple people. One of them is the architect head of America, and also Ellsworth too. He is also there. Okay. So meanwhile, because of the news article, nobody wants Howard to work on any more projects. Howard is not getting any new commissions, and that is like eating all his money, the rent, the office rent, and everything. So he is surviving on last of his pennies, he is not getting money from any of the sources. And during that time, Henry uh, Henry gives message to Howard that he wants to see him. And after Henry's retirement, in these 3 years, he never asked Howard to come. He just waited for Howard to show up every now and they um, do some chit chat and all that. But this is the first time Henry asked Howard to come, and after Howard come, they just talk about new architectural things, new materials, and all these things. And Henry is very weak now; he is bedridden. But then he just asks Howard to go roam around in the garden, and then he says that tonight you will stay here. And Howard knows what's going on in Henry's mind, but he does not show it to him or does not speak of it. He just obediently agrees to it, and he lives there. So for 3 to 4 days, he's living there, and then. Mm, uh, and then like it's like Henry's first time enjoying something called as a family. So he is eating dinner with Howard, and he is very happy. And he's even though he's bedridden, he likes to talk with Howard. Um, and then Henry calls Howard to his bed, and then he tells just one name, Gail Wynand, and he says that Howard, you have to defeat Gail Wynand. He is the personification of what's going wrong in this world, and I never mentioned him, but you have to defeat him so that for world's sake, for the uniqueness that I was representing, and all these things. So you have to defeat him, and then he says that I know you have going through a rough patch and you're not getting any clients, but then he asks, then he reminds Howard of the time where uh, when Henry had fired him and asked him to, look for other jobs, and if it is worth it, whatever I have become, I did not get any clients. My life was wasted. I was alcoholic. All these things he has told him, and then he smiles and that says to Howard that that was the half part. I did not tell you the full thing. Um, so it was all worth it because I stand out for my principles, and you should also do that. So he says that, and then he dies peacefully. So yeah, in this chapter, uh, uh, Henry Cameron dies, and on the other hand, as Peter is meeting Dominic quite regularly, on one fine day, uh, they dance together, and then there is a intimate moment happens in them, between them, and he tries to kiss her, and but after during the kissing, observed that Dominic is not even responding. It's like she is not even alive. She is not uh, caressing him, or her lips are not even moving. So he is very baffled, like what's going on, and he asks him if she has kissed anybody. So she says, yeah, many a times, and I thought this time it could be different with you, but it is all the same, and I don't feel a thing, and all those things. So he asks her that if you ever been loved, or if you ever felt love, uh, however small. But she says that no, that's how I am, and I am very sorry for it, but I don't feel a thing for anybody. And then Peter just looks at the window, and then uh, he thinks like, what if he gets Dominic, then his future will be secured in the Francon's firm. His life would be easier. So now he turns and then tells her that I want to get married with you, I love you. And so he's just faking everything. And Dominic understands that, and he tells him that, hey Peter, you don't need to do all this. You will get to be a partner in my father's firm. And if I ever want to give myself exuberant pain, and if I want to experience the most horrific thing for myself, I will get married to you, I promise. So hearing that, Peter feels a big insult, a huge insult, and then he just goes away, and he says that, okay, I will go and I will go home. And he is very angry at himself that how he can tolerate such a behavior. And even if asks somebody asks him to marry her so that you'll be the sole owner of the G. Francon firm, he would refuse that. But again, he gets angry that he would accept that if the same question is asked the following day. So that's how Peter is. Uh, he can trade anything for his position and for his career. So that's how it is. And so at end of chapter 14, Peter wants to marry Dominic, but Dominic has tells him frankly that I won't get married with you, and you don't need to do all this thing to be a partner in my dad's firm. And the Henry Cameron has died, and Howard is struggling right now because he is not getting any new projects and any new commissions. Though he has received one, yeah, though he has received one new project, but it's under review because the person who got in touch with Howard asks Howard to create the designs, and the designs would get reviewed by the director. So Howard has not yet got any confirmation. So he is in a rough patch right now. So that's how it has been. So we'll move to chapter 15 tomorrow. Bye bye.